Hello and welcome to pubnfig. For those of you returning to the channel, I know the first thing you are going to notice, and yes, you are correct. We got some new stools. Jokes aside, I wanted to kick off season 6 with this roadmap of video ideas so you have a sense of what to look forward to. Now, ideally, I get all of these or most of these out in 2026. Some of them will likely go into 2027, hopefully not into 2028. Most of these videos I've been thinking about for the past few months, but some of these I've been thinking about for the past literal number of years. I didn't rebrand myself to Tardy to the Party for a brief time without any proper reason. In case you need a refresher, or this is somehow your first time seeing my channel, in which case, hi, welcome, I'm glad you are here. I have a few categories I like to sort my videos under. My biggest two have been Before You Watch and Deep Dive, but there's going to be a big third one coming up, and then I'll address some small things for my other categories towards the end of the video. Before we begin though, I do want to confirm that alongside all of these other renovations, that there also is some new music for you thanks to a good friend of mine, Caleb P. He and I go back a few number of years, but he also has his own platforms where he releases his own content and his own other tracks and stuff like that as well. So here's the handle that you can go ahead and find him at, but I also have links in the description down below where you can also find his other platforms more directly. And in case you just want to see just the raw list of all the videos I'm going to announce in this video, then you can go ahead and skip to this timestamp where I just go ahead and kind of do like a repeat summary of everything I'm going through, and you can just skip there, save yourself a lot of time. But for those of you that want to stay around, we'll go ahead and begin with my Before You Watch category. For Before You Watch, which is my Marvel-focused juggernaut, I wanted to highlight what my plans are for this year. And the ones I am wanting to make for the remainder of 2026 Marvel releases are going to be for Spider-Man Brand New Day, which will be, I believe, in late July, the Vision Quest series on Disney+, which no one seems to know when that'll come out at this point, but should be later this year, and I have some ambitious plans when it comes to Avengers Doomsday. Before I reveal what my Doomsday plans are, I should probably cover the movies and shows that I have not made Before You Watches yet for, because there are a handful. Do not fret, I have not forgotten about them. I've just been kicking those cans down the road for a very long time. In release order, and with this frame that will be accompanying each of their thumbnails, the movies and shows I want to catch up on Before You Watches for are going to be Thor Love and Thunder, Echo, Daredevil Born Again, although I have more to say on that, Ironheart, and Wonder Man. I may get around to the What If and Marvel Zombies shows, especially since I have some funny ideas for those, but they are on the bottom of my priority list since they are their own different stories altogether and don't affect any of the main canon. Daredevil Born Again for both seasons will take a while because I myself am still catching up on the Netflix era shows, and I know I need to address elements of the other shows outside of just Daredevil's 3 seasons for at least going into season 2, and I just wanted to catch myself up on so I knew what to address going into those. However, in regards to those shows, that whole kind of collection from way back when, or well, I know it's the 2010s and all that, but I just didn't pay attention to that, to the show side back then. But when it comes to those, I do have more to say on them in a little bit, and you'll see how. Or when, rather. Yay. The only title that I did not just mention that I know I need to catch up on is going to be the Hawkeye series. And the reason for that is because I'm actually going to be recording that video right after this one, which means the turnaround time for releasing it will be extremely fast, likely within the next few days. Should I have gotten this video out years ago? Absolutely. Will there be anything worthwhile in it? Well, it will be the first video that will be using my new and improved spoiler menu. You may remember how I would stand in front of the spoiler wall, but because blending those 2D movie PNG assets would be a lot more complicating with this recent addition of depth, plus I would need to canonize that I have an alleyway and I do not want to have to map out what my real estate is anytime soon. The spoiler menu will be replacing it alongside the pubnfig meter. This video will be long enough as it is though, but you can check out that specific spoiler menu over in the Hawkeye video itself and in a dedicated spoiler menu breakdown so you can go ahead and understand what my thought process is, either if you're curious or you need a further explanation. Now, here are my ideas going into Avengers Doomsday. I'm going to be taking inspiration from the older videos I made going into Avengers Endgame, which is by segmenting recaps into more manageable chunks. However, instead of doing 4 to 5 videos, this is going to be a lot more work for me to do. To be clear, I'm not sure if I will actually release these as Before You Watches or not, because these will be more self-contained recaps rather than necessarily being Doomsday dependent, but here are my plans anyway. MCU Phase 1, MCU Phase 2, MCU Phase 3, MCU Phase 4, MCU Phase 5, MCU Phase 6 Part 1, Sony's Spider-Man movies, Fox's X-Men saga, the Defenders shows, and a miscellaneous bundle primarily for Blade, Fantastic Four, 2000's Daredevil, Ghost Rider, and maybe Punisher and other random movies around that time. I'll see how much effort I want to put into those. Here are my notes on these. 1. I may combine Phase 1 and Phase 2 since they are comparably smaller. 2. There is a chance I'll tweak the organization of some of these, so don't think this will be 100% what the game plan is. And 3, I may still make a singular Before You Watch Doomsday video, it will just be an abridged speedrun version of each of these different recaps. This way, you can choose to explore between these more thorough summaries, and or skip to the SparkNotes versions where I will appropriately weigh between what is going to be likely important information and not address what is absolutely going to be skippable, because there is going to be a lot of skippable information across those summaries. A final idea I want to throw out there for Before You Watch before moving on to deep dive is expanding beyond Marvel. Marvel will have my utmost attention, and this is more of a food for thought suggestion than a expect this anytime soon promise, but at some point I would love to expand to Star Wars. Again, not anytime soon, especially not before the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, but it's something that I can dip my toes into for helping and contextualizing lore, particularly for shows like Ahsoka that require immense homework. Just getting the Marvel stuff out of the way for the deep dive section, since the bulk of the rest of this video is not going to be Marvel focused, here is my quick rundown. I would like to make my theories on Marvel's multiverse, because I want to break down my thoughts and my speculations, because it is a very confusing system right now. But there is a WandaVision video I've been wanting to make for 5 years now. Yippee. Something for Spider-Man Far From Home as far as contextualizing it within Marvel of the past few years, and a 3-part series for the Loki show. Most of the ideas I had for those videos stemmed from the end of Loki Season 1 nearly 5 years ago. Again, yippee. But I have used that time to collect my thoughts on it and weave Season 2 in that pretty flawlessly. Now that we are done with the Marvel deep dives, a video I've been wanting to make for a short while has been what I call Ology Plus 1, which is when there was that one sequel that just doesn't seem to fit with any of the prior installments. Most of the examples I will use are going to be the cases of good trilogies that then just seemingly have a tacked on 4th film, such as Toy Story 4 and Kung Fu Panda 4, and I want to address why they have this weird, disjointed, not feeling right feel, outside of the fact that the trilogy probably wrapped up on its own terms. There will be more than just those two, especially since we'll be getting Toy Story 5 here very shortly actually, but I will include some duologies in there for example, or even examples like Star Wars where that disjointed feel is absolutely intentional. And if you wonder how on earth I'm going to map that into, then you'll just have to wait and see. And how you can go ahead and make sure you see that in your feed is by making sure you're subscribed down below if you haven't prior, or if this is one of your first time seeing me and you want to stay in the loop for when that video does come out. As for the other deep dive videos I'm wanting to make, they will be in their own sort of series, although I actually need help on naming it. The first number of videos in this series will be called Messianic vs. Mosaic, and they will be centered around Superman and Planet of the Apes. What this means is I will take these respective properties and analyze whether the lead figures exhibit traits more found in Jesus and Messianic styled archetypes, or of those like Moses. Superman I will be splitting across 2 videos because his origin story and his super heroic life are 2 different ball fields. As for the Planet of the Apes one, I will primarily just be using the 2010s and most recent films, but I can easily put these into a singular upload. As for another 2-parter I want to explore, it is going to be for Star Wars. I tried to fit it into the same Messianic versus Mosaic structure, but that was not clean at all, and it was more interesting when I started to bring in other figures and other archetypes into the picture instead to analyze with. So all in all, this series will be very religious based as far as identifying biblical symbolisms, parallels, and archetypes, whether the writers intended these or not, but I will still need help coming up with an overarching name. If you have any suggestions for that, or any ideas for other deep dive videos, you are more than welcome to suggest them in the comments below, as well as any other feedback you would like to give. That will be greatly appreciated. Moving on from deep dive, this video category has been in idea purgatory for years, and that is writing block. I have been teasing this category for 5 years, but the original concept I had for it back then was not going to be feasible for me, so I reworked it and want to use it to critique writing decisions and offer creative advice. For critiques, I have a 2-parter plan to tackle the 2025 Superman movie. I thought it was okay, I gave it a 6 out of 10 when I left the theater, but there were just so many small nitpicks and world building issues that compounded for me, and I just want to tackle it through a, here's how I would have written it better, rather than just simply saying, oh, this is an issue, this is an issue, this is an issue. It's more of a, how would I have corrected those, even though most of them don't even affect the movie that much as far as the overall endings or anything. It's just, here's how you can add so much more depth through these subtle changes, or just add alluded to depth, even if it isn't really there. Just using the Superman mythos itself. So I'm splitting that into 2 parts, both of which will tackle world building, but they'll be tackling different parts of the movie overall. Similarly, there is a small one I could make for last year's Captain America movie, since I felt their execution of the Red Hulk had potential behind it, but I knew it was going to be squandered, and I was proven right. I could make a rework video on the 2021 Eternals movie, since I have publicly expressed my absolute disdain and discontent with this film, but I already have so many other videos I need to juggle first. As for other videos I want to cover under writing block specifically, there are 2 remix videos that I think could be interesting. What I've noticed are how well The Incredibles and Megamind remixed the Marvel and DC universes respectively so well that I want to explore and give light to what made those work in case someone can use those insights and apply that towards other IPs as far as, remixing and doing so very creatively. As for my other categories, namely immediate review, meme, and edit, I will just get to those when I can. Immediate review in particular, I just am wanting to rework in its entirety because it was not a fun process for me to work on, so stay tuned to see how that shapes out. But I may get memes out occasionally, and I just need some good ideas for edit. As I have a wall of text crawl on screen with a summary of everything that I just announced, I might as well go ahead and address the background real quick. I am aware that it is pretty blank right now, and I do have plans to decorate it in some fashion, maybe put up thumbnails of videos that I either really liked or performed really well or something like that. But if you want to make fan art for me to put up there, A, what on earth are you doing? I'm a nobody with 300 subscribers, make it for someone else. But B, I would gladly put it up there and of course give credit to you and frame it however you want it to be framed and everything like that. If you watched this video in full, tangents and all, thank you so very much for your patience because I know you are a real one. And if you are someone who just skipped to the end part of this video, I fully understand. That is why I gave you an option. Again, big thanks to Caleb P for the new music, and thanks to any of you that have been following me for any period of time, whether it's a few weeks or a number of years. Your support means a lot, and I hope to make this year a good, productive one. And with all of that said, thank you for watching. Sayonara.